Welcome to this show that is called Quarter Twins Weekly Review.
Quarter Twins Weekly
or,
Review.
Or shall we say Quarter Twins like every other week or maybe more or less than weekly review. Sometime we
Please
review
no.
stuff.
We need every week, says the listener.
It's a podcast, and this is the podcast with only one question. What? Okay, this is it. We're doing it. This is the intro. Welcome. If you've never listened to an episode before, wow. I mean, this is... I'm so excited for you that you're here right now for this. Guys, Star Wars... Oh! I don't know.
In honor of the greatest movie of all time, this is episode number 65.
65 million years ago, humans discovered Earth.
Yeah.
It was the tagline of that movie.
But they weren't humans.
But they weren't even humans.
What
it was just Adam
movie.
Driver. It's a bad one. Star Wars is bad again, or Star Wars is good still.
Nope.
So that's the teaser. So if you're interested in either one of those takes, whether you can either choose Star Wars is bad again, or Star Wars is maybe still okay. You can follow.
At best, it's
this
maybe
episode.
Still okay.
At best,
that's a yikes.
We have thoughts and feelings. I wrote down many words that Joshua saw on Letterboxd regarding a Star Wars film. I wrote quite a lengthy review of a movie.
Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. I read it cover to cover.
But we're not only going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the show called Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Because that show is over now, and the whole thing is out, all 8 episodes, and we have thoughts about it. And then Joshua and I individually have quite long lists of things that we've been watching in the past few weeks.
Yeah, because it's been a few weeks since we've come together to share our thoughts and feelings on the media trappings of today.
Yeah, and I was gonna title this episode with the title of a movie called The Creator. But what we've learned is that when you use titles of movies that no one has ever seen as the title of your podcast episode, nobody listens to those episodes.
True. So we're just going to call every episode Oppenheimer.
Yeah, or The Last of Us. Those did really well.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal is the moment. I think that's the one that got like 100 views.
Yeah, why? I don't know. We both watched some things at the same time, apparently.
Yes. Concurrently.
But we're gonna get into that. There'll be time codes. You can skip around if you want. But where do you want to start? We got lots of stuff.
I don't know. I just want to say right off the bat, I'm really loving the energy coming out of Jordan here today. He's excited. He's hype. He's awake, and he's ready to record this podcast at full tilt.
The thing is, like, I am actually. I've been looking forward to this episode quite a bit. I'm a little sleepy. I must say.
It was a hard day's work.
It was a hard day's work today at the old shop. Your sister was here, with her husband for a couple days.
Shout out.
So I was busy hanging out with them yesterday.
They got to see the setup.
Fun. Yeah, they did. They saw the setup, and they didn't. Cool. They didn't make fun of us again. Like,
yeah,
no, they don't. They don't really make fun of us. Brian's been on the podcast, but
yeah, what a friend.
He's a great guy.
It's a little niche, but his episode was pretty niche.
It's fine. Yeah, he really was niche. Yeah, that movie's. Oh, it's fine. It was a fine movie. Anyway, I'm excited to hear about your life. What's up with you?
Nothing much, man. Just watching movies.
Where are you? Yeah, I mean, is this your room? What is this?
I am in a new house. I have moved since last we spoke.
Very good.
While recording. So I'm here in the new space. We got the shelf. This used to be my bed frame. So that's I've turned it vertically and made it into some sort of bookshelf. We're gonna get some fun. I'm thinking some figurines, maybe
some knickknacks,
and toys and things. Stuff that podcasters have that they have behind them. We finally have the Han and Leia picture in good view.
I love it.
I made sure when designing this room and decorating that this picture was going to be in the shot.
Nice.
Because I said the last 2 times I've decorated a room, this picture's kind of been on the sidelines. So I was like, it's got to be prominent. And what more prominent space than the internet forever?
That's right. It'll be out there.
It's one of my
forever.
favorite pictures of all time. So I just thought, here, let me put it in every episode from now on.
That's great.
So I'm real happy about that. Plus, you can see my collection of books that I haven't finished reading.
Made any progress on those?
Nope. This one even went back in the box. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
That's not good.
It's dangerous. The only problem I'm having is the shelf behind me is a little too tall. And you can't see the Spider-Man poster on top.
I see. Yep.
Or I could go like this.
I remember that poster. Yeah.
And then I look like a little kid Minecraft YouTuber.
It's certainly a choice, a creative choice.
Yeah. Not one I prefer.
Yeah. So. I like that pink color. That's a really nice color.
Yeah,
on that
it
wall.
is gray.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What about
it's not
you?
Too dark, not too light.
Your background looks different again.
Yeah, I put up some new sound panels. These are like actual nice sound panels on the side here. And I'm just for when we record, I have turned my desk around, and so now I'm just facing this way and not this way.
Very cool.
So that because I was like, this looks cool. I have this like pegboard that I have all my cables, my headphones, my piano. What is this? Sustain pedal is up there. Kind of cool. And I have you and I, we bought these pictures in the same place at the same time.
Yes, this one.
The Han and Leia and the Empire Strikes Back. I have this poster and I have a Yoda picture with Frank Oz's hand sticking out of it. And you got what was the other one you got? The one of or did you just get that one?
I think I just got this one.
Those.
I have a whole collection over there of Star Wars characters sitting in meadows doing cute things.
Yes, because I got the R2D2 and BB-8 one up there too.
Yeah,
out there in Portland.
Yeah,
anyway, I hope everybody who's listening to this is enjoying this.
And they haven't scrolled away yet.
The lore
Come on,
of our
this is the lore. This
decor.
Is yeah, the decor.
Just in
lore.
case anybody forgot, we haven't addressed the fact that we are related in a while, and in fact that we are quarter twins.
We are quarter twins. What's that mean?
Also known as cousins, you might say.
Well, we're more than cousins. We're quarter twins.
We are sons of twins, and
that's right.
And so if two human beings who were born at the same time from the same womb are 50% the same, DNA or whatever, then us as their offspring would have 25% of that original DNA.
That's right.
And so the original source code.
We're 25%, 100% the same.
That's right. And that's why this show is this.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's really good.
All right, what you been watching lately?
Oh yeah, I've been watching. I watched a lot of stuff actually. I'll save Star Wars for later. But I rewatched. I'm trying to rewatch movies in my list of 2023 releases that I would like. I liked at the time when they came out, but I wanted to make sure I had them in the right place on my list.
I see.
So I rewatched Creed 3, the third Creed. I was in a Creed watching extravaganza at the time.
Oh yeah,
and I watched all 3 and I loved them all. I rewatched the third one. I was like, this isn't as good as as it was in the moment. It's still really good though. Plus, you add in the fact that since seeing that movie, Jonathan Majors has been accused of many assaultings of women. So that definitely adds
sours the tongue.
It does. Especially since in this movie he plays a character who probably would do that to a woman also. So you're like, wow, he's really good at playing this character. I wonder why. He's an amazing actor, but probably not a good dude, which is a bummer. But the movie, outside of all that, still a pretty banger, if I do say so.
Pretty banger.
Michael B. Jordan directed it. He's great.
Shout out.
I talked about it probably a while ago. Not much to say else about that. I watched a new release on the platform Hulu. It's called No One Will Save You. It's a low budget science fiction kind of spooky home invasion movie. I'll say alien invasion because it's in the trailers and in the marketing and everything, so that's not really a spoiler. Very interesting movie. Lots of discourse around it. So I don't know if you're in. You should check it out, I guess. I think I told you should watch it.
You said that I should.
It's a good spooky time movie. It's spooky season over here, so but essentially the things that made me want to watch it is as I heard that there is no dialogue in the entire movie. It's completely it's not a silent film necessarily, but the main character doesn't say any words for the most part. And neither do any other characters that show up. So it's very interesting. It takes some twists and turns. I don't know if you read my review of it.
All I read was that I wasn't supposed to know anything about it before I watched it.
Yeah.
But now that I know some things,
well,
why don't you go ahead?
Those are the things that I knew going into. So
I see.
I won't be spoiling too much for you, but yeah, it's interesting. I recommend it. The actress Caitlin Dever, I believe her name is, did a really good job. Yeah, definitely a thought-provoking twist. You're like, what is this?
She's the alien.
Are we the aliens all along?
There you go. Got
the
it.
Alien was the man you passed by on the street today. What?
What? I've been in my house the whole day.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the two things that I watched and thought. Oh, and I mentioned Malignant last time we talked.
Yeah.
If you're in the mood for a spooky time, October, Halloween time, you should watch that movie because also wild, crazy movie that I had a great time watching. I don't know if you would like it, but director
for the creeps.
Yeah, well, director spooks. Of Aquaman, which is a really good movie.
Wow.
According to me and almost only me. No, it has its fans.
Is it James Wan?
James Wan, and he directed 7 Fast Furious 7 all the time. I'm 7 years old and I'm driving a car. No. That was a good bit, I think. He directed that and the Conjuring movies and Saw, the original Saw. So that's what he did. I haven't seen that, but those are the two things I watched that don't have further ramifications for the rest of this episode. So you go ahead and give me your other things.
All right, I got some things. I watched Black Klansman yesterday.
I've heard it's great.
Which was Oscar nominated in several categories. I don't know if it won anything. Probably. It's a Spike Lee joint, as they say.
I think he won director, I believe.
He may have done. It was good. Definitely my favorite John David Washington performance. Better than The Creator. Shout out. Great movie. Better than
I forgot we were
Tenet.
talking about that.
Well, okay, I say that, but his individual performance, it's not better than Tenet.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was good. Adam Driver is great. Based on a true story.
Was he in there?
Oh yeah, he says he has a few choice words. I'll say.
Oh man, I wonder what about.
Yeah.
In the movie.
So basically, it's like a real true story about the first black cop in Colorado Springs, and he goes undercover with Adam Driver to infiltrate the KKK, and they uncover a plot.
A plot, so, a bad plot involving the KKK.
Yeah,
they discovered that they're not very nice people. Probably.
Yeah, they're like, what? They're gonna do something evil? No.
Oh my gosh. They're not just wearing hoods for fun? What?
They don't just dress up? Yeah, and
this isn't like a birthday party situation? What
the heck? Sweet
we probably shouldn't joke about the KKK.
No, that's not fun.
It's probably not ripe for comedy right now.
No, it's not fun.
Forever.
Sweet poor Topher Grace plays David Duke, who is the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Oh yes,
and I was just it was disappointing to see such sweet man,
Topher Grace,
sweet Topher, playing it. Please God, kill Peter Parker.
Kill Peter Parker.
Yeah. So that was a good movie.
I love Spider-Man 3 though. That is
Spider-Man 3. What a film!
I want to watch it right now.
Oh well, we can turn this off if you'd rather.
Actually, yeah. Let's just turn it off.
I watched Snowpiercer.
Oh yes.
Which is a Bong Joon-ho movie.
So good.
Director of Parasite and other films. I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's a great one. The whole movie takes place on this train, and they're like all the last people alive on Earth because they sprayed some dust in the air and it made the world cold.
Yep. Yes.
And so it's it's really good.
It's a bit of an allegory for society.
Yeah,
sure.
You
would say. Some say Chris Evans' best performance.
Oh wow. Definitely one of his best monologues. I would say. Yeah. I don't know. He's pretty good in Scott Pilgrim versus.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that. So.
Whoops, you should watch it.
Whoops. I've heard that it's good. Yeah.
It's great. It's super funny. It's fun.
There's an anime coming out.
Yeah.
American-made anime.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an anime.
Whatever it is, cartoon.
That was a good time. Like I said in my review, you can always tell which way the front of the train is, no matter like what orientation. And multiple times through the movie, Chris Evans has to make like these choices, and he like looks this way, and then he looks this way, and he sees like his two choices lay in front of him, but one way is going towards the back of the train, and one way is going towards the front of the train. And every time he makes that decision, he faces the same way to signify the back and the front of the train. It's really cool, and I like the movie a lot because of that.
Yeah. It is awesome, and Tilda Swinton is in it.
Oh my gosh, she does great.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a Snowpiercer show. Do you ever see that? There's like 3 seasons of a Snowpiercer TV show.
Really?
I watched the first season and I liked it when I saw it, but I don't know if it was actually good. It has Dovey Diggs plays the main character from Hamilton fame.
Okay.
Jennifer Connelly is in it. Sean Bean plays Wilford.
Yo, Sean Bean, let's go.
I never finished the second and third seasons, but
if Sean Bean's in it, it's got to be good.
Yeah. It was kind of a standard like HBO drama.
Sure.
It's kind of cool.
Right on. I watched Paddington for the first time.
Everybody's favorite movie.
It was cute.
I haven't seen them. Yeah.
It was cute.
I think everybody loves Paddington 2, right? That's like the
I think
one
Paddington 2
amazing.
is supposed to be the greatest film of all time. The Citizen Kane of modern cinema.
Of little bear movies.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what the deal is. I mean, it was cute. Don't get me wrong. Like.
Right.
I was thinking the whole time, I was like, this would go in Jordan's that was cute tier.
Oh, yes.
That you had last year. It was cute.
I can't wait to make those videos again.
I'm excited.
I was making my list.
My list of movies I watched for the first time this year. That's the list I'm going with. I'm not going to do just 2023 releases, where I'm going to do the whole thing.
That's going to be crazy.
50 movies yesterday.
That's crazy. Wow.
So I might have to skip TV shows. In that case.
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't get me, because like I watched Game of Thrones for the first time this year. You know.
Oh yeah.
Technically.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And
The Last of Us is in there. Yeah.
So. And then I watched
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Yeah. Wow. I watched 2 foreign films as well recently that have been on my watch list for a long time. Chungking Express, which is a romance, and Ikiru, which is a movie from a long time ago.
Yes.
And so I did not finish Ikiru.
Ooh.
It was like 2.5 hours long, and it felt like I was watching it for 3 days. And I didn't even get through it all. There's one scene that's good. where this guy's like, basically this dude who has been working his whole life finds out he has stomach cancer and he's gonna die soon, and it's inoperable. And he's going to die, and he's like, well, crap, I wasted my entire life working, and my son doesn't even need the money I saved for him, so what the heck do I do with myself now that I'm about to die? And so it's supposed to be like him finding his purpose in life and finding joy in life again and blah, 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 right? But it's just like kind of creepy how he goes about it, and it doesn't really, it didn't, like, I could watch the first 20 minutes of the movie and guess the plot of the rest of the movie.
Sure. It's not a good sign usually.
Yeah, but there was one scene where he's like in a casino and he's drunk, and the piano man starts playing a song, and he sings along with the song, and he's like, it's like a sad slow dance song, and he's singing real loud, and everybody's listening, and he's crying, and I was like, wow, this is acting.
Acting.
Yes. But then 5 minutes later, I was back to being like, this is boring. On the other hand, I watched Chungking Express. Sorry, yes. For the audio only listeners, I turned into a ghost for a second.
A bright light.
Yeah. I watched Chungking Express, which is one of the people I follow on Letterboxd, one of his favorite movies. Okay. Yes. So I was like,
I've heard the name around.
I've got to watch this movie. Basically, there are two policemen that frequent this corner store in Tokyo. And it's called the Chungking Express. And they both, it's about the police officers falling in love. Not with each other.
Okay.
In fact, the first character's story is about 30 minutes long. And then the second policeman's story is the rest of the movie. They are not interlinked at all. The first character does not return at any point in the movie. And it's just a complete waste of time. So just skip that first part and then watch the rest of the movie, and it's good. It's really good.
There you go.
It's a nice romance. Shang-Chi's dad, Tony Leung, is
Tony
in
Leung.
This movie. And Fei Wong plays his romantic interest. And they have, it's palpable. The chemistry, okay?
The chemistry, the love.
So, yeah, it's for reals. And it was really nice. And the more that I think about it, the more that I go back and reminisce, the more I enjoy it. So I was pretty happy with that movie. So that's where I'm at. Now, let's get to the real biz. Okay, let's get to the real biz.
We got some stuff to talk about.
You go first. I need a throat break so that I can scream for a while.
Wait, we're going to talk about Star Wars now? You want to talk about Star Wars now?
Well, I noticed in your stuff section that you had Invasion Season 1.
Oh, yeah.
I have also seen Invasion Season 1.
Yep.
Did I talk about it?
I can't remember. I don't know.
What made you interested in watching it then?
I had a 8-hour drive to Chicago, and so I put it on.
There you go.
And I was like, all right. And then I finished it. Season 2 is happening as we speak. Are you keeping up with Season 2?
I watched the first episode, and I said, maybe not.
Yeah, okay. So here's my review of Invasion, or here's the thing. Okay, so Invasion Season 1. If you don't know, you've seen it.
I've seen it.
There is an invasion, an alien invasion, as you might imagine. And the first season, which I honestly really enjoyed the first season.
It was good, yeah.
I thought it was good. It's funny. It'll be funny to see if you talked about this before, and you're like, yeah, it's really good.
No,
Jordan, you should watch the show, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's an invasion, and the first season is kind of like you're experiencing this alien invasion from the perspective of there's 4 or 5 different perspective characters or plot lines. So you got a mom and a dad and 2 kids, suburban family, who's the guy was recently caught cheating at the beginning of the season, and so they're okay. This was really cool. I enjoyed their plot line because I thought they did a really good job of like showing the wife was like they're experiencing a literal alien invasion, and the thing that is like wrecking her entire world is that her husband has been like unfaithful to her.
Yeah.
And it was just like a really like fascinating perspective, I thought.
Yeah, I like them the most.
You're like, hey mom, there's an alien literally about to kill us, and she's just so angry at her husband the whole time.
Yeah, she's like, let it kill him.
She's like, maybe we should just let him die, you know? I thought it was really cool. Their story was fun. And he gets a little redemption arc kind of. And then there's an army man who was in the Middle East somewhere.
Yeah, and he was also in John Wick 4.
John Wick 4, yes, very good, Mr. Nobody or whatever his
tracker.
Character's name. So he's experiencing the alien invasion from a military perspective. There's a sheriff in Oklahoma who's like just kind of doing his normal sheriff thing, like a missing person case or whatever, and discovers something. There is, I believe they're in Japan. Yeah. 2 women together. One of them is an astronaut. The other one works for, I believe it's JASA. I think it's like JASA.
Yeah, it's literally just NASA, but
it's Japan. NASA, but it's Japan's NASA.
JASA.
And so her name is Hinata, I believe, is the astronaut's name.
Yeah.
And Mitsuki is the
Mitsuki
other one. So Hinata goes up into space, and aliens come from space usually, right, guys?
Yeah.
So that might happen. And so that is happening. A perspective of people who know what's happening in space. And then who else is there? Oh, the children. So there's this group of kids who go on a little school field trip, and they their bus is like driving, and there's some meteors. Well, they're not meteors. They're pieces of the satellite that Hinata may or may not have been on that have fallen down to Earth. And so they crash, and they fall into a big hole, and then they try to get out for a while. And then by the time they get out of the hole, the world is like completely different and changed because of this alien invasion. I just really liked the first season. It was like really kind of slow paced, and like the aliens, they eventually show up, and their design is really cool.
They reminded me of Annihilation.
Yep, bit of Annihilation.
Amorphous being.
And the let's see what happens. The end of the first season, it ends with you kind of discover that this kid has some sort of telepathic link with these aliens, and then they like. Is it the first season that they figure out how to blow something up, and then anyway, it's a hive mind. They figure out it's a hive mind, and then they kill a mothership, and then all the aliens that are on Earth die. But then the very last shot is of a giant spaceship that shows up. They're like, we're here for more.
Yeah. You killed our friends.
So the second season starts, and it's, wow, my cat just let out a scream. He was so sad that he can't be in here with me. Trying to get in.
I didn't hear a thing. So
okay, so the second season is like everything they kind of set up in the first season, they start expanding upon, as you would, because it's the second season. And they introduce this like tech bro, like Elon Musk type character.
Yes.
Who's like just evil, because that's just what you do, is you introduce an evil techie bro, like in Venom or something like that. Evil capitalist who's like, yeah, aliens are dope, bro. Let's go. Yeah, like somebody who's written by Taika Waititi, you know what I mean? Like, kind of annoying. I just, anyway. And then, like, they're kind of in the next phase of this invasion where the world's starting to kind of like the Last of Us type situation where like, oh, the zombies are a problem, but it's really the humans that are the real monsters. And so the second season kind of does that, where it's like, oh, these aliens are bad, but maybe humans are also bad sometimes.
Wow.
And it's like, it's okay. They're going in some directions. It feels like they're kind of like, it feels like a show where they're just kind of making it up as they go along. Like in this episode, we're going to introduce like a wibbly wobbly cloud looking alien entity inside this room. And then the producers are like, okay, so what's that about? And they're like, we'll just talk to us next week. And then the next episode, they're like, oh, maybe this is maybe it's a super intelligent being that can communicate. And then the next episode, they're like, oh, but maybe it's a portal. Maybe it feels like that, where they're just kind of like, whatever we can just kind of make it do something else to like keep the story going.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I'll finish the season. I'm interested.
Oh, shout out. I didn't finish the first episode of season 2.
Yeah.
Cause and you let me know how petty this is. Okay. I didn't like how easy the aliens became to kill. In the first season, they are literally like virtually unkillable until they have the mom and dad family, the suburban family has like this random piece of their ship or something.
We still don't know what it is.
It resonates with the alien frequency, and so they stab the alien with it. And it kryptonites them. And that's one way, and it becomes like the super valuable artifact, and they get like special treatment when they get into the army base and stuff because they have this thing, blah, blah, blah. And then the other way is just fire.
Yep, it's just fire.
Just fire will kill them. I mean, like, and I get like they nuke the mothership or whatever. That's gonna like hive mind. It makes sense. We're gonna Phantom Menace this so we can get out of it real quick, like.
Yeah.
But then it's like we're watching season 2, and we've seen like Mitsuki is like fighting all these aliens with Molotovs, and she's killing a ton of them.
She is. She kills a lot in that first episode.
She's just like bah 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 bah, and I'm like, guys, flamethrowers exist. Just
just flame them,
firebomb,
flame on them.
The city. Yeah. It's not that hard.
I will say they find a way to amend this problem. It is amended at a certain point.
The aliens?
Yes. They fix this issue at a certain point.
They wear coats.
Yeah. They put on armor.
Cool.
They put on a bucket. I don't know if that will change your opinion on the overall season, but that problem is fixed at a certain point. I'm not saying it gets more interesting.
Yeah, the other thing is just like it reminded me very much of Westworld season 2. I watched the first episode of Westworld season 2, and I was like, this is like a show that's already gone on too long. Yeah. Like the idea of this space with the replicants or whatever was the cool part. Yeah. And with Invasion, it was the first weeks, the breakdown of society was the cool thing. Now it's like surviving the aliens.
And they like the part of the intrigue of the first season is like the ambiguity of like you don't really know what's going on.
What was happening.
And then like when you figure out, oh, this kid does have a telepathic connection with the aliens. And actually, not only him, like there's a group of kids that have a telepathic connection to the aliens. What? And so now you're in the second season, and you're like, they have to like start doing things with that, and it becomes more and more like, I don't really buy this. I mean, like it's already an alien invasion, and I don't really know. I don't get this like spiritual, like magical connection.
I'm not vibing with seizure magic.
Seizure magic is a little strange, yeah, for sure. So, but I mean, all that being said, it still got me hooked, so I'll watch whatever.
Okay.
There's a little Yeah, I actually watched the first season, or I started the first season thinking that it was brand new. Because the second season that started, I was like, oh, this is a new show. And then I was like, oh, no, I'm actually late to the party. So
there you go.
Yep, there's that.
Let's do TV now. Let's just keep it up on the TV. So I haven't watched the second episode of Loki season 2 yet.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Sweet. So we can just talk about the first episode. It was
gosh. No, it's really not though.
I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot this show. Is this show good? Are we really? Is this?
Here's the difference: is because I rewatched the first season like right before starting the second season, and what you said was you were like, it was okay. It doesn't give you too much time to like settle into it again. Like it goes right back into it where you left off.
Yeah.
But for me, who had watched the last episode of season 1 and started the first episode of season 2, I was like, wow, this is sick. I
just keeps going.
I loved it so much. It's so fun. It's such a good show. I forgot how good it was, but you didn't like Kiki Kwan's in it, and he's in it for like the whole episode.
Don't get me wrong.
And he's doing fun stuff with Owen Wilson.
That was great.
It's delightful. It's delightful.
Okay.
Tom Hiddleston's performance is great.
I'm being a little hyperbolic when I'm being the antithesis because I know Jordan is going to come in here with the objective fact of how perfect it is.
Fact. It's amazing.
So I just wanted to be like, hey, it's not amazing, okay? And now, don't get me wrong. I gave Loki season 1 4.5 stars, or 4 stars, maybe. I don't remember. Like it's up there. It's a good show.
That's really good.
I fear that it's going to be similar to Invasion, where now that the premise has been fulfilled, we're just going to continue the characters.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to need a strong new premise to keep me engaged.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
That's where I stand on that. And that, I mean, more power to Marvel. I want them to succeed so badly.
Yeah.
Where
and it also
where
has
other shows have failed.
It has the Jonathan Majors aspect to it as well.
Yes.
Where he doesn't show up in the first episode, but you see like statues of him and whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, we gotta do this. Oh, he was the last thing I saw him in was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and I hate that movie. So it does have a little bit of that, but I will say, as a counterpoint to that, I feel like they really just shot themselves in the foot by putting him in Ant-Man. Because
especially with the hundreds of him.
The thing about this show is in the first season also, they do a really good job of making this character really terrifying. Like in the last episode when they meet He Who Remains, and you can like their performances and everything, his performance and then their performance. They're like, this guy is terrifying, and then Loki goes back to the TVA. And he's just like, guys, like this, he's coming. He's terrible. He's all powerful, and and they make it really scary. And then they start this season, and he's still like, he's just like whenever he thinks about him, Loki is just like he like shudders. He's like, oh my gosh, like this terrifying, haunting figure, that like building up to this Thanos level figure. And then I watch Quantumania, and he's just like goofy, just like. Lame. Evil. I literally just these ants literally killed me the first time I show up. It's so silly, but
you do have to recall it isn't the same Kang,
right? I know.
So
I know.
Well, so
yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not an excuse because it should kind of be the same vibe for every Kang. But,
and they also didn't make that clear that it was that the Kang that we meet in Ant-Man, like they talk about him like he is the main Kang that's gonna be causing problems.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I
hope because he was also separated from the rest of the Kangs.
I just I love the first season, and it's so like putting it next to all the other Marvel shows, like WandaVision. Might be the only exception where like Those WandaVision and Loki, for me anyway. You got to give WandaVision credit for at least doing something creative. Like they did something creative for the first 80% of it, or whatever, and then they were like, whatever, we'll just fly around and shoot lasers at each other at the end.
It's a good way to end a show.
I guess so. And then Loki had just and I hadn't binged it for the second time until this time, and I played a lot better for me this time, just being able to binge it.
Yeah.
I thought the pacing was great. Sylvie is a great character, and it's like the weird aspect of them, of like two Lokis falling in love with each other and falling in love with themselves, and like having a romantic connection with themselves. It's
very Loki.
It's like wacky, and like they took a swing with that, and I enjoy that. And then Kiki Kwan's there, and he's like, I'm Ouroboros, and you got time slippage and whatever, and we gotta fix it, but we can't fix it. And then they have that scene where he's like,
scene where
he's in two different time periods.
That was great.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what you were talking about.
Don't get me wrong, like I liked it. Yeah. I just I'm worried about the future, so I'm keeping my expectations low.
It could suck
because I've been burned recently.
No way.
I've been burned, and
oh no, what could you possibly be referring to?
You remember a TV show with only 6 episodes called Kenobi?
I do remember that show,
and
hate it.
With a fiery, burning passion for its lack of substance, and its lack of commitment to the main character, and also the title of the show, Kenobi.
And also just the fact that it's really bad and terrible and stupid.
Just overall, just not great
and it's
in any
ugly
way.
And it's gross, and I hate it.
Wow.
So, that.
And I'll bring up another show where the main character, who's also the name of the show, is also terrible, and that show, of course, is Hawkeye.
Oh yeah.
Where the main character is not the main
zigzagged.
character.
I didn't know he was going to go there.
And today we have our third example of a Disney Plus show with not enough episodes, where the main character, whose name is the name of the show, is not the main character, nor the most interesting character, and it's the second time Star Wars.
Probably the least interesting character.
It may even be the least interesting character. We have, of course, Ahsoka. Now, this is 8 episodes. The second... How long are the Mando seasons? 10 episodes?
10, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my first thing. Disney, hi.
Wait, I think we should... no, you go. It's worth prefacing with, like, if you haven't listened to the past few episodes, go back and listen to what we've been saying about Ahsoka up until this point. Because especially in the earlier ones, we were like, Star Wars is back! This is the best show ever! I love Star Wars!
Yeah.
It makes me feel like a kid again. This is amazing!
It was great.
And now,
it was great.
Continue.
Disney, fine. Rip this for the TikTok.
Yeah, okay, we'll do.
Disney, what's going on? Your most successful Disney Plus show, the most iconic Disney Plus show, is how many episodes? 10? 10 episodes. Better than, more successful than Andor, more successful than Loki. It's 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How many episodes do all your other shows have? Less than 10? I find that pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also interesting that all of those shows with less episodes suck balls. Okay? They're trash. Okay? I am so vehemently angry at this show, okay? Okay, Jordan,
I'm with ya.
Jordan watched the last episode of Ahsoka.
Yeah, we have this in real time that we can read out for you guys.
It's amazing. It's amazing,
I love
actually.
it.
Jordan finished the last episode of Ahsoka. He gave it 3 stars. I hadn't seen the last episode. Literally.
What did I say?
7 out of 8. Yeah, you look it up. You read it word for word for me when you get there.
Okay, here we go. I gave it 3 stars. I said, overall, this is really fun Star Wars. I actually said 2 really. This is really, really fun Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
They lost me towards the end, but it happens, is what I said. I'm glad it exists, is what I said. I don't know why I said that. I'm not really glad that it exists. More often than not, it captures the essence of Star Wars that captivated me as a kid, and that's a win. I'll stand by that.
I will
more
also
often
stand by
than
that.
Not.
I fully agree with that sentiment.
But yes, you hadn't watched it yet.
Yes, I hadn't seen it yet. So I comment on his Letterboxd review. You want to read that for me, what I said?
We'll put it we'll put it on the screen too. You comment immediately. Can't wait to watch the finale. I'm giving it 5 stars, no matter what, 2 exclamation points.
No matter what.
And I said, I think I remember this attitude towards Mando Season 3 as well, because a very similar thing happened where going into the final episode of Mando Season 3, you were like, you know what, it's Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, and I'm giving it 5 stars. You actually gave it 5 stars. You were like, this is great, I think.
That can't be true.
I don't know. You're like, yeah, Star Wars is Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then you said after that, that was different. I gave up on that one a while before the end. Ahsoka is fire, and you know it.
And you know it. Okay? I was adamant that the show was perfectly executed, freaking perfectly acted. The vibes, Jordan, the vibes.
And then I respond back before you watch the episode here. I say, you're right. I may have been a bit harsh with my 3 stars. See, you've convinced me at this point. You're like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah. You were right. It's probably better than 3 stars. It's probably 4 stars. I say. I liked 6 out of 8 episodes, so that's very solid for a Disney Plus Star Wars.
That's 4
show.
out of 5 right there. 6 out of 8. The math is clear.
6 out of 8. The math checks out.
Yeah.
For sure. And then
and then I watched the final episode. That's at this point, maybe during the time where he's commenting.
Yes.
On
it felt like
immediately
after I say that, I'm like,
watching.
Yeah, it's 4 stars, and immediately after that, you just say, never mind.
Never mind. So I watched the final episode, and something in my mind snapped that day.
You were broken.
I was a broken man. I was defeated. Wow. So here, basically, I was a little naive, I will say. I watched this show. I knew it was 8 episodes. I knew that this was going to be the last one. It wasn't the shortest episode of the season. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we have something here.
Maybe we've done it.
Maybe we can bring this to a conclusion that satisfies one human being.
And that human being being me,
Jordan Weaver.
Please.
That's it. And so, okay, let me set the scene. Ahsoka and Hu Yang, the only droid without any numbers in his name, travels through the whales in super hyper speed, faster than light travel, to another galaxy, only far away. This galaxy, it's only far away. It's not far away. Oh. And they meet. They go to what is it called? Repised or something. It's got a silly name.
It's Dathomir for all intents and purposes.
Gray Dathomir. And they go there and they meet. They go and they find Sabine and Jesus, and also known as Ezra. Who, side note, actually, not bad.
Would be a good Jesus, probably.
I expected him to not. I expected to not like him because I hate him in Rebels. He sucks in Rebels.
His personality was fine. Yeah,
he was great. Kind of lighthearted, very Jedi-esque. He does Force Kung Fu, which I need to see more of. Let's be honest. That was awesome.
He's like, actually, I don't need that lightsaber. I'm just gonna punch.
Yeah,
probably. I'm just gonna punch and kick.
But I am gonna take a lightsaber in the finale. Don't.
Oh yes.
Don't get it twisted.
But I will. He builds a little lightsaber. That's fun, right? We love seeing some of that.
Just, I don't care. It's not about the cool. It's about him going back on his word in next episode. I don't like it.
Yeah, he does do that. He does.
So Ahsoka and Huyang return, and they meet Sabine. And at this point, Sabine A thought Ahsoka was dead. B betrayed her, left her to die. Underwater. Ahsoka,
interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Setting up an interesting character conflict. Yes.
Conflict.
Well done.
Yes. Wow. Shout out Dave Filoni for coming up with something.
Excellent work, sir.
And then Ahsoka gets there, and they meet, and she's like, "I thought you were dead," and she's like, "I know. You want to talk about it? No. Okay.
Hi, Ezra.
Reconciled.
A man I met maybe once or twice in the show called Rebels. I don't know.
Yeah. Ahsoka, Ezra, and everything's fine.
Is back together.
And they literally, it's literally like, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. So Sabine's greatest moment in the show, which this show is about her. Let's be honest. This is not Ahsoka. This is Sabine. And she gets her whole character arc. She gets to make her choice. It's all about finding Ezra. She finds Ezra. It's all happy. She gets everything she wants with zero consequences.
Yep. She's stranded on that planet or whatever.
Wow. Because that won't be that won't be fixed.
Yeah. You didn't like the zombie stormtroopers that apparently are impervious to being cut in half with a lightsaber because they just decide not to do that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
See if I this is just me. This is just me. If I was a Jedi and I had not even just one, I mean one of these characters has 2 lightsabers.
Sure.
And I'm fighting an army of these. I'm fighting an army of men that have guns. And we kill them all, right? By not really cutting them in half or anything. We just kind of kill them by like pushing them over or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're dead. And then they are resurrected into zombie versions of those same people.
Mm-hmm.
I would think I have this lightsaber that can cut through anything. Anything and everything. I might just cut them in half, or cut their legs off, or cut their heads off, or their arms off.
Yeah.
But no, they all just stand at a distance and they do this. Yeah.
And
like, here's the is dichotomy the right word? Is because I'm looking at this. I'm looking at a Mandalorian wielding a green lightsaber. I'm looking at Ahsoka wielding her 2 lightsabers. I'm looking at the Ezra Jesus wielding a blue lightsaber. They're standing in the line, all doing this, and my lizard brain is like, "This is sick." But then at the same time, I'm like, "Wow, this sucks. This is boring as heck." Because they're standing in a line. They're just going and the stormtroopers are going pew 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 ah. And that's it. That's all that happens. Nothing cool happens at all. I'm like, wow, 3 characters wielding lightsabers at the same time. I haven't seen that since Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's good.
Bummer, dude.
In fact, it was bad.
Yeah. And then also the zombies are like fully rotted corpses. I don't know if you noticed. One of the zombie death troopers has his like helmet shot off. And you can see like this part of his jaw. Yeah. And he just died. Yeah. He literally just died. And he's like, his teeth are exposed. He looks like Two-Face. He's this green zombie flesh. Right. And like, I get it. It's like Dathomir or witch magic. Like, it's probably doing something extra to their bods. Yeah. But I was a little surprised that he was just fully rotted corpse.
And here's the thing is that this is an actually interesting way to add a level of danger to the characters of stormtroopers if your heroes are only equipped with blasters. Because as we see, Sabine shoots the zombie in the face with a blaster, and it's just like back to work, right? And that's different than normal stormtroopers and interesting. Right. But when they all have lightsabers, it means nothing. So like, write a different scenario. Probably. Like this is what it all goes down to. It's like you could just like, oh, we had to because they're there with lightsabers. Well, just write a different scenario. In fact, write a better scenario.
A better one.
Write a better show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
Write a finale that doesn't require 40 minutes of your 43 runtime doing action.
What did you think of your favorite character from the show just leaving the show entirely and going up onto a cliff and looking out into the distance? What did you think about that?
So, my favorite characters of the show, and you can watch back my previous episode discussion. Yes. I talk many times about Shin Hati and Baylan.
Yes. Shin Hati.
Yeah.
Sure.
Shin Hati and Baylan, these Sith mercenary, sort of lawful evil characters.
Some of the cooler characters we've had in Star Wars in a while.
Yeah, in a while.
Sith characters, yeah.
They basically, so Baylan was a young Jedi when Order 66 was brought about. The Jedi Order fell. He kind of saw it coming because the Jedi kind of sucked for a while, even before, like during the Clone Wars entirely. So he left early and wasn't on the list. He wasn't on the kill list. So he survived and found Shin and raised her in the way of the Sith, kind of his own brand of it. Yeah. Which is, it's very ambition driven and not passion driven. Which I think was really cool, interesting way to use the Sith code and kind of like it's different, and I really enjoyed that. And so he's like, oh yeah, for the Empire, blah blah blah. Like I love that. That's great. And but in reality, he has his own plans. He has his own ambition, and Shin is part of that moving forward. Right? Obviously, she would be. Otherwise, he wouldn't have started training her. So they go to this other planet with Morgan Elsbeth, who we'll talk about in a minute as well.
Boring.
So sad. So disappointing. They go to this other planet, Dathomir 2, and they find Ahsoka and Sabine and stuff. They chase them down. They go and they have a big brawl, right? Sabine and Ezra fight Shin, and this is the second to last episode, mind you, that I'm talking about now. They go and find Sabine and Shin and Ezra fight, and Shin loses, and Ahsoka shows up, and she's like, "Hey, we can help you. Like, you don't have to be this person that you are. You don't have to be evil. We can help you." And she just runs away in silence because, she's had like 5 lines the whole show.
That's her personality.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's all good and whatever. She's got to do her own thing. I get that. I'm like, cool. Whatever. It's fine.
We'll live to fight another
Ahsoka,
day.
Yeah. Except we won't.
Well, yeah.
And then before Ahsoka arrives to this fight, she has an encounter with Baylan, who they've had a fight already. It was probably the best fight in the show. And we get version 2, and they fight for a bit, and then something happens. I forget. There's like a cloud, and then Ahsoka disappears, and Baylan's like,
"There's like a cloud."
Yeah. I don't remember what made the cloud, but there's a cloud.
I do not know.
And so Baylan's just like, "Dang, guess she's out of here. I'm gonna leave," and he just dips. And
Shin's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "That's for me to know and you to find out. Go on, be free. I'm going to go over here."
Yeah. So Baylan, after all this time, the raising her from a young baby, probably, he just is like, "I'm going to abandon you now on this planet, on a different galaxy.
Yeah.
You figure out what your destiny is, because it's somewhere on this planet."
I guess.
Probably. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what is the point? Why? Like,
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
It's bad. Yeah.
And so he abandons her, and she runs away into the forest. But there's no trees. And And so she just runs away. There's no forest.
Yeah,
Sorry.
There's no forest.
And then we have the last episode. And Shin and Balin are nowhere to be seen. They don't pop up and suddenly switch sides. Or Shin at least doesn't return to fight Morgan or do anything interesting. She's just like not in the episode at all. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, they got to have something cool. They got to show up. Something cool is going to happen with these characters that have been the most interesting characters in the entire show for the whole time. Something has to happen with them. And so the entire finale happens, like resolution, everything.
Ooh, zombies. Ooh.
Zombies, flaming green swords, long live the Empire, super turbo mode. They leave. And then Sabine and Ahsoka go back down to Earth. Dathomir 2, whatever. Sorry, there's no Earth. And they re-encounter their little rock turtle people.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to live with you guys now because we definitely will never return to our galaxy.
But whales.
It's like, wow, okay, so the show is over. We forgot about these two characters.
Yep.
But then, they come back. We get them. They're back.
We get to see them.
Shin rides her little wolf horse dog up a hill. Sees this mercenary camp who we've seen a couple times, these red mercenary dudes. She holds up her lightsaber like this. She's like, and that's it. That is it.
And then you see Balin, right?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Balin. Okay, and this is interesting. If it ever comes up ever again, forever and ever in Star Wars, which it won't.
It won't. For one reason, that actor passed away.
Yes,
Rest
very
in
sad.
peace. That's tragic.
Mm-hmm.
And if they try to bring him back with like CGI and stuff, that's
it'll be
which
even more
they
tragic.
will. Yeah,
I don't know.
Right,
they should they can recast him. I hope
they should.
He climbs this mountain, and he looks out in the distance, and he sees a shining little mountain. One of the mountains has a little light on it, and they zoom out from him, looking out at the way, and we see the rock face, like Mount Rushmore style. The father, the son, and the daughter. Yeah. And if you don't know who they are,
there's like an owl there, and everybody's like, "Whoa, the owl!"
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's an owl here. Yeah, I remember this episode of the Clone Wars where the guy's like, "Oh, you're gonna be Darth Vader one day, but if you be good, you'll bring balance to everything." Woo,
woo.
And then Ahsoka gets yellow eyes, and she's like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
I remember that episode. I was there. I saw it. So
you see the physical embodiments of the Force, basically, are these depicted in this mountain face. And it's a planet called Mortis. Is the name of their, like, it's like the island from Lost, where it's like, it's real, but it's not.
Spoiler.
It's in a physical space, but it's not. I don't know. That's not a spoiler, dude.
I'm never gonna watch that show ever now.
And so it was just kind of like, oh, that's cool, but we'll never see the end of this. This will never amount to anything.
Because they're not doing an Ahsoka season 2, and they're doing that Dave Filoni's movie, which they have to tie together Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and all of those characters into one glorious battle. And we didn't even mention that the whole purpose of the show was to bring Thrawn back into the picture, and he's literally the most boring character I could possibly imagine. Like, he's literally just blue, and he walks around and he goes, maybe you should send some troops to this side of the mountain instead of this side. Load those boxes into my cruiser. I'm going to go take a little nap. I'm going to be the Empire again in my big rocket ship. It's not interesting.
Yeah.
He's lame.
Also, he's not that smart. I thought of a better way to use his time a couple times. That would have been a better strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, so the last episode, we have Morgan Elsbeth, who is a Dathomir worshipping Night Sister novice, basically. And she meets the grandmothers on this Dathomir 2 planet, and she's like, "What's up? I did all this for you guys." And they're like, "What's up? Would you want to be one of our sisters?" And she's like, "Heck yeah!" So they turn her skin gray, and then they give her this
a fancy sword,
this awesome flaming green sword that can deflect lightsabers. Yeah, and she's like, "Cool." Dope. And then they're immediately like, "Go sacrifice yourself. You are gonna stay behind and die 100%."
Go die.
And she's like, "Sick, cool." So finally, and also she was in Mandalorian season 2 for an episode.
Yeah. It took me a long time to figure that out.
She met Ahsoka, she met Mando, she fought them with a stick. She was cool. I thought it was cool that they brought her back. I thought she was cool in the show as its own. What's happening?
My desk started moving upwards.
Interesting.
In a rapid fashion. It can go wherever.
Wow.
Anyway.
Okay.
Continue.
Jordan's distracting me.
That's my bad. I'm getting bored just thinking about Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah. So she was finally interesting. She turns into a Dathomiri, like night sister, grandmother, something like that.
It was cool.
And she fights Ahsoka and she dies. And it's like, oh, cool. Yes. She's done. Nothing to do with that character anymore.
Poor Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing Hera for no reason.
Oh my gosh, dude! And they hype up Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's so great, and
an
she
amazing
gets to be Hera, who's like such a cool character in Rebels. Like actually, genuinely, one of the only good characters in that show. Consistent. She's cool. She's in love with a Jedi. It's awesome, and she has nothing to do.
What does she do in this show? She walks into rooms and she goes,
"I'm not gonna obey the rules.
You guys are lame. Ahsoka's gonna ride a whale, and you can't stop her."
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna walk around and do nothing the entire time. Also, isn't there another character in Rebels? Isn't there like a big bear-looking guy?
Yeah,
who was in Mando season 3?
He was in Mando.
Isn't this like Rebels season whatever? And why is he not in it?
He's not.
Where is he?
They get the balding guy.
He's the one interesting looking character. Everyone else is just humans. Yeah. I mean, I know Ahsoka's not a human, but she is a human. She's Rosario Dawson, and the other guy looks like a freaking whalefish dog boy.
Yeah,
like that's cool.
It's the original design of Chewbacca, by the way.
He probably just he probably just cost too much to keep in the show, so they were like, well. We obviously don't have enough money to spend on Sabine's wig, so I mean, like,
oh my gosh,
terrible wig.
Her original hair looked fine.
It looked great. Her long hair was gorgeous. I don't know what they. So
the
silly.
Pixie cut. It looks so weird.
I hated it. But here's the thing.
Okay.
So if we can wrap up the Ahsoka discourse.
I'm actually not done.
Okay. Yeah, continue then. Because I want to give you your moment. Because this is your
just
Kenobi
one more thing.
Here.
As the Star Destroyer is flying away with the hyperspace ring. Sick.
Right. Yeah, cool. You see that ring, they set it up, you're like, a Star Destroyer is going to go in there, and it's going to be dope. Because I saw that in the prequels with the little ships, and they're going to do a big-time ship, big boy.
Big time ship, big boy. And so it's flying away, and then at this point, Ezra has made it on to the Star Destroyer. He did the jump, the super jump, and Sabine completed her arc by being able to use the Force.
I wish we could show this shot, but because he's like, I can't make this jump, and Sabine, who's only used the Force to move a lightsaber from like here to there, is like, I can do this. I can send you like probably a few miles all the way to this ship, and so he jumps and he's making an arc, and she waits until he starts making a downward arc.
Yeah.
To push him, and she goes like this, and he goes up. I'm like,
yeah. It's
like
amazing.
You didn't want to just push him from the start, and he would go like it's like what do you even?
I'm sure
not
Ezra.
Look, I can't make any of this. I can't shoot a Star Wars show. I can't write a script.
What?
Okay, I'm not pretending like I can, but I feel like I can make that look better. Okay, guys.
It was tough.
Anyway,
it was rough.
He's on the ship, right?
Yeah, he gets on the ship. Ahsoka and Sabine have decided, Ezra made it. He's gonna stop Thrawn. Hera knows that he's coming. They'll figure it out. We're just gonna stay and fight these zombies instead.
We're just gonna vibe.
And hope that Hu Yang will fix the ship in time for us to maybe catch up, which they don't. But before that, before Hu Yang gets there, Thrawn, in his infinite wisdom, says, destroy the temple. Blow it up.
He does.
And kill them. And it destroys the temple. It comes crumbling down, and they barely make an escape onto the star ship that they have. Hu Yang flies in and saves them on their way back to space. Destroy the temple 30 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. They die in the crumbling rubble as they're fighting these zombies on the bottom floor. That should have been your
first move.
Yeah, just destroy the temple. Then they can't even climb close to you. Ezra doesn't jump up on you. You kill all of them, and no one knows you're coming. No one can stop you.
Also, they have the Dathomir, the three goddess ladies, evil Satan ladies. The grandmothers. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Who can apparently resurrect an army of zombie troopers. But Thrawn could just be like, hey, can you just kill them? Can you kill Ahsoka for me?
Yeah.
Could they?
Probably. They
I don't know.
Something powerful.
Don't they do something? They have those little silver balls that they connect, and with red magic.
Yeah. They use those to imprison Ahsoka, Sabine. No problem. They should just do that.
My favorite part was when what's his name? Jesus. Ezra, he gets into a ship or something after he's in the main Star Wars galaxy, and he's wearing a stormtrooper uniform.
Yeah.
And he flies the ship into the New Republic's vessel.
Yeah.
It's an Empire. It's an Empire ship. Hera's there, and the whole crew of the ship is there. They pull their blasters, and what they see is a man dressed in complete stormtrooper outfit, and they just don't kill him immediately for some reason.
They don't shoot him.
They're shooting those people left and right. They're killing every stormtrooper they get their eyes on. And this guy walks out. Just take the helmet off. Who are you hiding from?
Don't walk down the ramp with the helmet on.
What are you doing?
You're not hiding anymore. You
don't have to hide. You're with your friends. I don't know.
They make it
know.
Like this reveal, like we don't know that's exactly what that's supposed to be. It's just it was so disappointing, you guys.
I don't know why we expected anything less, but
because the rest of the show had so much potential.
Everything up until they go to the second galaxy is fine and fun and good.
It was great. The vibes.
It was a really good start.
It was very Andor-esque.
And then we get to the part where they're like, "Oh, we have how many episodes to do this? We have how many?
3?
Whoops! We have 3 more. We have 3. We just got to this planet. We just introduced Thrawn in the third to last episode. You're telling us we have only 3 episodes left?
Why don't we get? Can we get 10 episodes? No, absolutely not.
Andor had 12 episodes. You could even do 12. It's like
not a chance.
Not a chance, dude.
It's just so disappointing. Like
Disney,
like Dave Filoni can do it. He just needs enough.
Well, I sent you that Twitter thing. So Disney TV is there's been drama because the Daredevil thing. Because they were like a while back. They were like, we're gonna reboot Daredevil. We're gonna make Daredevil Born Again. It's going to be 18 episodes. Everybody, okay? We're getting everybody back. We're getting Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio. We're getting you're getting Karen Page and Foggy Nelson back, right? Who? We're not getting those people back. Those people suck. Those people are boring, man. So they didn't get those people back. They start making an 18-episode show. They're about halfway done at this point. The strikes are going on, so it's been on the standstill. What do? They scrap it. They scrap the entire thing. They're like, you know what? Kevin Feige is like, what you've given me so far sucks. We're scrapping it. You're all fired. Get out. And so they're starting from scratch with Daredevil. And what they're doing is, I should have pulled this up ahead of time, but they essentially said, we've learned some lessons. We're going to essentially what we're going to do is we're going to start making TV shows like the right way, and how we've been making TV shows for ever, instead of just being like, hey, make me a 6-hour Marvel movie, okay? Instead of just giving that to a director and be like, hey, do 6 episodes of Avengers Endgame, okay? They're like, oh, maybe we should have a showrunner. Oh, maybe we should have like a writing team. Maybe we should have pilot episodes, because those are actually important sometimes.
Yeah.
So like they're like, oh, maybe Secret Invasion was bad. Huh. Oh, maybe that show did suck. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe we should have made Hawkeye the main character of his own show. I don't know.
Call me crazy, but
and they're making Andor season 2, and I hope they learn their lesson and be like,
well, Tony Gilroy will be there. So
he'll be there. Like, just I don't know. It's so strange. I don't know what they're doing out there.
Neither do they.
And this. So if you're, we got more Star Wars to talk about. This episode's gonna be long, but
worth.
Because I have more Star Wars to talk about. Because I watched this show and I was like, gosh, Star Wars is bad. Like, guys, is Star Wars bad? So I had another crisis, existential crisis that Obi-Wan Kenobi gave me. Like, guys, is this series actually terrible? Yeah. And I'm over here like, because I'm not a huge fan of Return of the Jedi. I haven't given it a chance in a long time. I'm like, people really like that movie. I'm gonna watch it again. So I put it in the old Blu-ray player and I give it a go. Wow. And it's Return of the Jedi. There's a lot of good stuff. The first part where they're in, they do a cool thing where you can tell that some time has passed, and Luke shows up in his black robes, and you can tell it's been a while. He's matured. Mm-hmm. You're introduced to Jabba the Hutt. He's like a weird slug, a giant slug man. Like, I'm trying to watch this like from fresh perspective. Like, I've never seen this before. I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. There's a slug man. That's great. Han Solo's in Carbonite. R2-D2 and C-3PO are there. They're walking me through this whole process. Mm-hmm. And then, ooh, eat that! The song happens.
Yeah, no.
That happens, and I go, oh, yeah. That's why I don't watch this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because that moment is enough I'm just like, I turn it off. I don't turn it off. I persevere. Even though it's egregious. It's so terrible.
And it goes on for a whole song.
And then the Rancor thing happens. And I'm like, okay, we're back. This is cool. The Rancor's here. Luke's here. We're dope. The Leia rescues Han. They have their kiss. It's beautiful. Han and Chewie are reunited in the dungeon or whatever. And Harrison Ford's giving a great. Yeah, he's giving a great silly performance. They have and Lando's there, and they're fighting the Sarlacc pit, and there's some great, just like genuine good comedy where he's like, he's like a little bit blind. I thought you said you were blind, and he goes, I can see a lot better, and he's tried to shoot the arm with it. It's hilarious. It's amazing. Yeah. It's Star Wars. And then
I enjoy that Tatooine sequence quite a bit.
Then they leave Tatooine, and Luke goes to Dagobah, and Yoda's like, important plot information. There's another Skywalker, and don't underestimate Mr. Evil Empire. What's his name? The Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine, the Emperor.
Mr. Evil Empire, baby.
And then he dies. In between all of this, like, you're getting some good stuff on the Death Star that's shot really nicely. I'm like, this looks really good for the time being. The cinematography is pretty good. Darth Vader's still pretty cool. Yeah. And then at that point, we are probably a quarter through the movie, and we're already on Endor, and I am like checking my watch, like they go to Endor, and I just like. Because I'm like, okay, maybe I've given the teddy bears a bit too much grief in the past. When's the last time you watched Return of the Jedi? Because it had been a long time.
I haven't watched in its entirety a Star Wars film in almost 2 years.
Wow. Well, that's depressing on many levels.
Yeah, I know.
But you watch Return of the Jedi, and the Ewoks are in it for like 80% of the movie is jump, 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 jump. It's so much Ewoks, and they're just so annoying. And it gets the actors start like they're like, "What are we doing here?" Luke, Han, and Leia are all just like, "Why am I acting with a teddy bear?" There, you can tell they're all, especially Harrison Ford is like, "I do not want to be here." They're not interested. And then they're like, "There's a second Death Star," and I'm like, And I've just grown up with knowing that there's always going to be a second Death Star. But I'm watching this movie for the first time in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just like, you're doing this again? Like,
yeah, wait till you watch Force Awakens.
What was it like for them in 1980, whatever, when they saw this movie and they just did the Death Star, the literal Death Star? They just did it again. I was shocked at the silliness of this. Because they're just like, we know what to do with this thing. We've done it before. We'll just go in and blow it up. It's cool. And then we get to the stuff that people like about Return of the Jedi is the Tatooine stuff, and then the stuff at the end with Luke. Luke, he has a confrontation with Vader where he's in handcuffs. He turns himself in, they have a really interesting, amazing conversation. That's great. And then, before that, Luke has the conversation with Leia. He's like, "You're my sister." Han comes out. He's like, "Well, what do you could tell Luke about this and not me. I'm your guy," or whatever. It's great.
Yeah,
all this stuff is great. The fight with Luke and Vader
is that great. Who you could tell?
Is that how you could tell? Yeah. And then the end, Vader sacrifices himself. They have a little moment, and then it wraps up. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great. That's amazing. But it's just so much of it. I'm just like. Snooze.
Yeah, the middle of the movie. It's sort of a Order of the Phoenix scenario for me, where the beginning and the end are great.
The movie that I really like.
The middle is just like, yeah.
So I watched that movie, and immediately after, I was like, "Gosh, Star Wars, man! Like,
sucks.
Is this what
this?
What
the heck is happening?"
And I'm like, you know what? I haven't watched episode 7 in a while. No, episode 8 in a while. I haven't watched episode 7 in a while either, but I was like, okay, I gotta watch, because I don't think I've watched it since Rise of Skywalker came out, because I was so upset by the whole concept. I put in The Last Jedi, okay? And, okay, to the Star Wars fans' derogatory's credit, okay, I'm going to give them some credit here. I'm going to give them the leg to slightest bit of credit. I do think, which I will go on to discuss, I'm very much on board for Luke's characterization. I do think the visual gag of him throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder, I'm not that big of a fan of the gag itself. Symbolically, I get why he does it, but I think there are a few other ways you could do it that don't feel like haha. Like it's a silly, like it's a joke, you know?
Yeah.
Like I feel like he can just walk, he can just shove it back into Rey's hands and be like, "I'm out of here," you know, or whatever.
Sure.
I was like, okay, I'm like people, because that's the moment where Star Wars fans derogatory check out. They're like, "This movie sucks. Yeah. It's terrible." But
because everything in Star Wars is pure and sacred and perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, so I watched this movie, and I'm like, you know what? This is probably the best one. It's probably the best Star Wars movie ever made. I don't know why we've ever tried to put up this facade of being like, "Oh no, the original 2 were better." Like, I don't know. Like this, like The Last Jedi is it's so good, and like the first 2 they're masterpieces and iconic and whatever.
Whatever.
But and you read and afterwards I wrote a very long review because I was struck with so many epiphanies about the movie because I hadn't watched it in so long. One being, it's beautiful. It's shot very, very nicely. The performances are fantastic.
Amazing. Mark Hamill's best performance on screen.
I know.
IMO.
And it's eternally depressing that even he was like, "I hate this." That really bugs me that he was so sad about it because he did so good. I don't know.
Yeah. And it fits. I feel like it really just fits the character so well.
Yeah.
Especially with like the legacy of Jedi is failure.
Yeah.
It's kind of the whole point.
And I realized that Star Wars fans derogatory. It's almost as if they can't comprehend complex storytelling, and all they want is swish swish, zoom zooms, and that sort of thing. Because this movie is actually and I said this in my long-winded review, is like it's actually not that complicated. Just so many of us have just lost the ability to have complex human thought and emotion. It's just like, and because of all that, I can't wait for the documentary about what went wrong with these movies. And because of all that, because J.J. Abrams is like, he sets up this mystery box where it's like he wants you to theorize and to have these expectations, so that the next director can come in and like blow you away. And Rian Johnson, he took those expectations.
Screw you guys.
And he was just like, but the thing is, like, he was like, I know, but he's like, he wants you to roll with him. He wants you to be like, I know you're expecting this, but this is better than what you're expecting, right? This is better than Luke raising the X-wing out of the water. This is better than Rey being a Palpatine. This might be better than Snoke being a weird clone goblin of the resurrected emperor that died a long time ago. Like maybe having a complex, relatable story. Well, I won't say relatable. I can't relate to the plight of a Jedi Master whose world turned against him and is very depressed. But I don't know. It's and there are so many things about it that like the snippets of like, oh, the Canto Bite thing, where like, oh, that thing sucks because Finn knows war is bad, and that enters the Twitter brain, and so nobody ever just stops and actually pays attention to the movie anymore, including me. Like I didn't pay attention to that part for a long time. But when you actually pay attention to what's being said, like the line, like if you actually listen to a script, because usually in good movies, the script is, words are used to communicate thoughts, feelings, and ideas. And so when you pay attention to those, you might actually find yourself having a thought, feeling a feeling, or being aligned with an idea. It's really good when you can experience art in that way. It's great. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I was like, you know what, Star Wars is great. I'm back.
You're right. You know what? It was good the whole time.
It was good the whole time, and I was actually inspired to rewatch The Rise of Skywalker, which I'll probably do. Because there are so many.
Maybe
I just love the things they set up in The Last Jedi, like having Kylo Ren have this character arc where he's kind of torn in between. He wants to, like, it's interesting to have a villain that's like willing to hear out the hero. Like they're like Rey and Kylo Ren throughout the movie, and they're having these conversations through the Force, which is an amazing concept, communicated visually and auditorily, right?
Yes.
Sure. Why not?
Yes.
Orally, A-U-R-L-Y.
I get you.
L-Y.
Yeah.
It's artistic, It's an artistic choice that they make, and it's amazing.
Job.
They're having these conversations about good and evil and what makes people, what makes Kylo Ren a monster and all this stuff. And like, oh, maybe there's good in you, whatever, and stuff. And then they have their conflict on the ship, and then they're holding the legacy of the Jedi in between them, in the balance of the two of them. The legacy of the Jedi personified within a lightsaber. The Skywalker lightsaber is being held between the two, and the legacy of the Jedi is literally destroyed, because thematically that makes a lot of sense with these two characters. The Last Jedi, I might say, you might even say.
You might.
Because it's the title of the film. And then people just go, we'll just bring back the lightsaber in the next movie with some duct tape. That's like, they Can you believe?
How are you going to watch this next movie right now?
They
destroyed. Watch it.
They destroyed Anakin's lightsaber, guys, and then everybody leaves that ship. That ship gets destroyed, and then in the next movie, they just have the lightsaber back, and they put some tape over it, and it's fine. That's a good example of the stupidity of that movie for sure.
Yeah. Whoops.
There's so many.
Star Wars was bad the whole time.
I just love those characters so much that I want them to have a cool conclusion. And I'm like, there's some things that I like about that next movie.
Theorize about what would happen next.
Yeah.
And forget that Episode 9 ever happened.
Kylo Ren takes his place as like the leader of the First Order at the end of The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, the Supreme Leader is dead. As if to say. Because Hux says, the Supreme Leader is dead, I'm taking control. And Kylo Ren chokes him and is like, the Supreme Leader is dead. As to say, I am the Supreme Leader now. And Hux goes, long live the Supreme Leader.
Long live.
That is you. He takes the place of the Supreme Leader.
Of course.
It's Palpatine. Put Palpatine in it. It's Palpatine. He's the villain. It's whatever. Silly. But then they're on the crate. And it looks amazing. And the speeders that are making the red streaks and stuff. And the salt and such. It's
the glass.
I don't know.
Crystal.
I don't know what to tell you guys. If you guys don't like this movie, Noah, does he still not like this?
Yeah, if he was home right now, he'd probably be
again.
hearing this discussion through the walls. But
I don't know. We always come to the stalemate of loving and hating Star Wars. I think it as always it's just like, yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like the posters on our wall.
Yes.
Should signify enough that we like Star Wars.
Yeah, we do.
Overall, we wouldn't be talking about it for an hour and a half every few weeks if we didn't love it. So let's be real.
And this has happened before, and it will happen again. You know, it happened with Kenobi, and then I was on board again, and then Andor came out, and I was like, wow, Star Wars is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Right.
So it's just this is the cycle. This is the life cycle of Star Wars. So we'll hopefully get another good one. I saw a leaked trailer for The Acolyte, and it looks pretty sick.
Dude.
I mean, assuming that it was...
Is she the Acolyte?
That would be amazing. It was in like 240p from like somebody's iPhone.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't get a good vibe for like the actual look of it, but I mean, it looked pretty sick. So we might see.
Exciting. What about
Hopefully
Skeleton Crew starring Jude Law? Is that still happening?
Yeah, I saw a leaked trailer for that as well.
There you go.
It looks cool. It looks cool. Like a little Stranger Things style kiddo adventure, being like if Jude Law is like their Hopper, it looks like they're
right? Okay.
the adult that kind of leads them through the whatever.
Okay, that
sounds cool. Yeah,
I need more Star Wars without the Force and lightsabers.
I need.
I know that's
more.
I know
Force
that's
and
literally the exact opposite of what you want.
I know,
but
I know what you mean though.
I just like I enjoy the Star Wars universe, and not everyone in fact the vast majority of characters in Star Wars don't have lightsabers or use the Force.
Yeah,
so I want that also, because then it's like when the Force shows up, it's like, ooh,
yeah,
did he just move that with his mind? That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So
did that little boy move that broom with his mind at the end of The Last Jedi? Yes, he did. Does it have to mean anything? Or it means something. Does he have to come back in another movie? No, of course not. Like, it's symbolism, guys.
Yes.
So I don't know what to tell you. We have two more things that I really want to talk about. Which I don't know if we want to just do a second episode.
I could do a second episode. Let's do a second.
And it doesn't have to be a whole another hour, but we have two things that we really want to talk about. So
yeah, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and do another episode. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening to us rant about Star Wars and a bunch of other movies. Actually, we talked about quite a bit this episode.
We did.
Tune in next week for the creator review as well as past lives. We're going to do a quick dichotomy of those two movies that relate to each other in almost zero ways, probably.
Yeah.
And then for the last week of October, we're doing all 5 Twilight movies because we've been delaying the Twilight verse.
We planned ahead
because we were so excited to do Twilight this year. We literally said next year we're going to do all the Twilight movies for the October Spooktober, and that just hasn't happened. So
I can't believe that it's October currently. I'm shocked.
It is the middle of October, in fact.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you guys for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys really soon for more podcast, because we're exciting and we're planning
content
ahead.
Machine,
and we are content producers, as we just produce. So thank you guys.
Producing.
We'll see you guys next week.
I'll see you next time.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Zoom, 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 zoom.